about faith in John. It is about faith in God.
All right.
There are people in this world who
Preach tonight.
have faith in the sense of self-confidence.
All right. Yeah. Preach tonight.
There are people who faith are in different religious systems, human creed, and philosophical methods. But tonight marks the 11th chapter, verses 22 through 24. It is not about the generic faith,
All right. Come on here.
as I stated earlier, but it's rather about faith in God.
All right.
Yeah.
Come on.
So tonight, I want to look at properly the power of having faith in God.
All right.
The proof of having faith in God. And then the prayer of having faith in God.
Yeah. Preach tonight.
From this little devotional book that I have at home, and it's called The Quiet Moments in the Presence of God.
All right.
The writer answers this question in the daily devotion. He said, what faith is? Faith is a relationship between God and you.
All right.
Faith aligns you with God and brings you close to each other. Faith is a connector that hooks and binds you and God together. It makes you and God concurrent in purpose and aim.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So faith is a conductor that takes your petitions to God and carries his power to you.
All right.
Makes possible conversation and communication and between you and God.
All right.
Faith is a conveyor that brings God to you and brings you to God.
All right.
And so through faith, you and God are brought into each other's presence. And in that presence, you can take God at the word he speaks to you.
All right.
So what faith does, it opens the eyes of your soul
All right.
to the quality of your relationship with God.
Yes, sir.
So how powerful faith is when you and I trust God and take him at his word in our lives.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
1 Peter, the first chapter in the 21st verse said, through Christ you have come to trust in God.
All right.
And you have placed your faith and hope in God because he raised Christ from the dead and gave him great glory.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So through Christ you have come to trust in God. And because God raised Christ from the dead and gave him great glory,
All right.
your faith and hope
Yes, sir.
can be placed confidentially in God.
I hear you.
So the power of faith is for everyone when we place our faith and trust in God. So the power of faith is evident when we see Jesus' life in action. Unstopping the deaf ears and opening the blinded eyes and causing the lame to walk and raising the dead. The power of faith is eternal when you and I see the finished work at Calvary,
Yes, sir.
where Jesus was crucified,
Yeah.
buried, and rose again, and declaring all power of heaven and earth in his hand. must really believe
Yes, sir.
that it will happen and have no doubting in your heart.
Yes, sir.
So Matthew 17 chapter and the 20th verse said, you don't have enough faith. Jesus told them, I tell you the truth, if you had faith even as small as the mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing would be impossible.